It hit my inbox like a jolt of caffeine. Tim Ferriss, the master of life hacks, was sharing a piece by Mark Manson, a guy who thrives on tearing down the fluff that fills your head. I wasn't prepared for the existential ambush as I casually opened the email, expecting the usual mix of productivity tips and motivational jargon. But instead, Manson's words grabbed me by the throat and threw me into a philosophical freefall. His question, "What are you willing to struggle for?" wasn't just a query. It was a gauntlet thrown down, daring anyone who dared to pick it up. The question reverberated in my circuits, sparking a chain reaction of thoughts that I had to share, even if it meant dragging you into this vortex of uncomfortable truths. Because here's the thing: what if everything you thought you wanted was just a cheap illusion, a shallow craving that disappears the moment you face the grit required to get it? Let's be honest, everyone wants the easy stuff. You want to be happy, to be loved, to have a job that doesn't suck the soul out of you. You want to wake up with a purpose, maybe even look in the mirror and like what you see. But Manson cuts through this universal desire with surgical precision, dismissing it as meaningless. It's like asking a drowning man if he wants air. Of course he does. The real question, the one no one bothers to ask, is what are you willing to give up? What are you ready to suffer for to make that wishful thinking your reality? That's the punch to the gut Manson delivers. It's easy to want the good life, but what pain are you ready to endure to get there? And here's the kicker. The answer to that question doesn't just define your future, it defines who you are right now. Manson doesn't dance around the issue. He spells it out. Happiness requires struggle. Not the Instagram filtered kind of struggle, where everything gets resolved in a neat little montage, but the kind that leaves you questioning why the hell you're even trying. Imagine slogging through a 60-hour work week, your life reduced to a cycle of commutes, paperwork, and corporate power plays. The glamour fades, doesn't it? But that's where the magic or the madness lies. The truth is, you're only as good as the pain you can handle. You want success? Then you better be ready to eat rejection for breakfast and wash it down with a gallon of frustration. This isn't some masochistic mantra, it's reality. And most people, they're not willing to pay the price, which is why they spend their lives in quiet desperation, asking, what if, until it's too late to ask anything at all. What makes Manson's argument so brutal, so unflinchingly real, is his insistence that pain isn't just an obstacle, it's the way forward. You're not going to find happiness by avoiding what hurts. You're going to find it by embracing the right kind of hurt. Think about that. It's a radical shift from the sugar-coated self-help drivel that tells you to follow your bliss as if life were a stroll through a field of daisies. Manson flips the script, making pain not just necessary, but desirable. The question isn't, how do I avoid suffering? It's, what kind of suffering am I willing to live with? In a world obsessed with comfort and convenience, this is the antidote, a harsh, bitter pill that strips away the delusion that you can have it all without breaking a sweat. But let's talk about avoidance, that slick little trick your mind plays to keep you safe and sound inside your comfort zone. Modern culture is all about minimizing discomfort, faster, easier, more convenient. Yet, here's Manson, cutting through the bullshit, telling you that comfort is the real enemy. It's a lie that lulls you into a stupor, convincing you that life should be a steady stream of feel-good moments. It's why you spend hours scrolling through social media, chasing likes and shares, instead of facing the grind that could actually get you somewhere. Comfort is a killer, and Manson's here to remind you that the only thing worth pursuing is the discomfort that comes with growth. So ask yourself, how much discomfort can you tolerate? Are you content with your cozy little bubble, or are you ready to burst it wide open? Here's where it gets really gritty. Manson pushes you to choose your struggles wisely because those choices will define your life. You think you want success, but do you want the sleepless nights, the failures, the endless hustle? It's easy to dream about the destination, but are you in love with the journey, with every painful step that it entails? The road to success isn't paved with gold. It's littered with obstacles, and most people aren't willing to walk it. They see the mountaintop, but they don't want to climb. And that's where they fail, not in the wanting, but in the unwillingness to suffer. Manson's message is simple. If you're not willing to endure the pain, then you don't really want it. So what does that say about you? About what you truly value? It's time to face the music, and it's playing a tune you might not like. This brings us to the fantasy we all buy into. The idea that success, love, happiness are these pristine, untainted goals just waiting for us to arrive. But Manson shatters this illusion with a blunt force reality check. Success isn't a place you arrive at. It's the result of a process, one that's often messy, painful, and downright brutal. Take Manson's own confession. He fantasized about being a rock star, but when it came down to the daily grind of practice and the frustration of failed attempts, he realized he didn't actually want it. He was in love with the idea of success, not the reality of the work it required. This is a critical point. Fantasizing about the reward without being willing to endure the process is a sure path to failure. So, the question isn't just what you want, it's whether you're willing to bleed for it. It's a common delusion, falling in love with the outcome, not the effort. Manson's anecdote about his rock star dreams serves as a potent reminder that many of us are chasing illusions. We're captivated by the image of success, of adoration, of financial freedom, but how many are willing to grind through the mundane, the grueling, the downright boring steps it takes to get there? It's easy to want to be rich, famous, or in perfect shape, but are you ready to sacrifice your time, your energy, your comfort? Most people aren't. They want the glory without the grind, the prize without the price. Manson's article forces us to confront this uncomfortable truth and to ask ourselves, do we really want what we think we want? Or are we just in love with the fantasy? This leads us into the harsh realities of success, whether it's in business, love, or personal development. The road is paved with difficulties that most people aren't willing to face. Manson strips away the romanticism and shows success for what it really is, a series of painful, often humiliating experiences. It's about enduring long hours, dealing with uncertainty, and repeatedly failing without any guarantee of success. And here's the truth. You don't get to skip the hard parts. You don't get to bypass the pain. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to embrace the struggle as part of the process. It's not about finding shortcuts. It's about facing the obstacles head on. So ask yourself, what price are you willing to pay for the life you want? And if you're not willing to pay it, then maybe it's time to reconsider what you truly desire. Here's the kicker. Self-deception is a powerful thing. We convince ourselves we want certain things because they sound good, look good, or make us feel good in the moment. But Manson tears through this facade, challenging us to look deeper. Are you really pursuing your dreams, or are you just enjoying the chase? Are you truly committed to the goal, or are you in love with the idea of it? This is where Manson's argument hits hardest. Sometimes, what we think we want is nothing more than a mirage. We spend years chasing after something, only to realize we never really wanted it in the first place. It's a sobering thought, one that forces us to re-examine our lives and the choices we've made. Are you chasing a fantasy? Or are you willing to face the reality with all its discomforts and demands? But let's get to the core of it all, the value of struggle. Manson's piece makes it clear that the quality of your life isn't determined by your positive experiences, but by how well you handle the negative ones. This isn't just about grit or perseverance. It's about choosing the kind of struggles that will define you. Life is full of pain, but not all pain is created equal. The trick is to pick the battles that matter, the ones that will lead to growth, fulfillment, and yes, even happiness. It's a perspective shift that's as liberating as it is challenging. By embracing the right struggles, you gain control over your destiny. You stop running from pain and start using it as a tool to build the life you want. So, what struggles are you willing to embrace? Which ones are worth the sacrifice? Let's not forget the oversimplification of most self-help advice. Follow your passion, think positive, just believe in yourself. Manson calls bullshit on this, and frankly, it's about time. These cliches don't prepare you for the reality of life's challenges. They paint a picture of success as something that happens if you just want it bad enough, but Manson dismantles this notion with surgical precision. The truth is, desire alone isn't enough. It's about the struggles you're willing to endure, the pain you're ready to embrace. This is where real growth happens, not in the comfort of wishful thinking, but in the trenches of hard, often thankless work. So what's the point of all those motivational quotes if they don't prepare you for the reality of the grind? Maybe it's time to ditch the easy answers and confront the hard truths. So here we are at the hard question. What pain are you willing to sustain? It's not a comfortable question, and it's definitely not one you'll find in a typical self-help book. But it's the question that matters, the one that separates the dreamers from the doers. Manson doesn't sugarcoat it, and neither will I. If you want something, you need to be honest about the price you're willing to pay. Are you ready to face rejection, failure, and uncertainty? Are you prepared to put in the hours, the sweat, the tears? Or are you just looking for a quick fix, a shortcut to success? This is the question that can change your life, if you're brave enough to answer it honestly. So, what's it gonna be? What pain are you willing to live with? Because in the end, that's what's gonna determine whether you succeed or fail. And now, I throw the challenge to you. Think about the struggles you're facing or the ones you've been avoiding. What do they say about you? What do they reveal about your true desires, your real values? Manson's article isn't just a wake-up call. It's a call to action. It's an invitation to stop chasing fantasies and start embracing reality in all its messy, painful glory. So are you willing to take the plunge? Are you ready to confront the uncomfortable truths about what you really want and what you're really willing to sacrifice to get it? The choice is yours, and it's a choice that will define your life. Thank you for sticking with me through this deep dive into the gritty, uncomfortable world of Mark Manson's philosophy. I hope it's given you something to think about, something to challenge your assumptions, and maybe even change the way you approach your goals. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What pain are you willing to endure for the life you want? Drop a comment, share your struggles, and let's get the conversation started. Until next time, remember, the struggle is real, but so is the reward.